guys? Welcome back. Commentary for you. Want to thank my sponsor, Steel Supplements. Link and discount code down in the description. You also know I'm a Weibo preferred influencer. Best promotion they have right now in the pinned comment. All you have to do, click that link, go open an account. You don't have to deposit $1. They're going to give you free fractional shares. I've seen people get EA, Microsoft, Berkshire Hathaway. How crazy is it to get a fractional share of Berkshire Hathaway? But needless to say, those are the type of shares you can get. You can hold on to them forever. You can sell them, whatever you want to do. Want to talk about MLB The Show 23 cover release. Listen, if you don't know anything about me, the main sports I follow would be NASCAR, which from a video game perspective has been a disaster. I don't even know how this game was released. It doesn't even load properly at times. It is an embarrassment to the sport. Take a look at Madden. I mean, just as bad. I don't think you need to go far to know my opinion on EA Sports and the embarrassment that that game is to the NFL. But at least, I guess, in contrast to NASCAR, it loads. So you could say that. But I would rather have woodland creatures making an NFL game before Clint & Company. So when I tell you that MLB The Show has been the saving grace for me actually having gaming consoles the last number of years, I mean it. So when you look at this year's game releasing a little bit earlier than normal, I'm not going to complain one bit. I basically played MLB The Show every day for the past number of years. So we've got a release this year, March 28th, so just less than 2 months away, really. I think with the deluxe bundles, you would see maybe Friday the 24th, and that would probably hold true with Game Pass as well. I think maybe some people overlook we've got the World Baseball Classic this year returning after, I guess, would you call it a series off, a season off? I don't know how you would define that, but that's back. That's huge for, kind of your hardcore Major League Baseball fans. So maybe that's going to factor into people wanting to play game early. I don't know. I do know I've seen a lot of people frustrated with the cover, a lot of mixed reviews. I get it. If you're a casual fan, maybe you don't know a lot about Jazz Chisholm. I would put him almost like in the same light of maybe Key Brian Hayes, right? Where if you watch baseball, if you watch both leagues play, you know who they are and you're excited about them. But if you just follow your team and they don't play the Marlins, maybe you don't know a lot about him. He did have an all-star game this year, but he didn't play in because of some injuries. And I think a lot of people look at, Julio Rodriguez just kind of turning baseball upside down, as well as Aaron Judge breaking the home run record and thinking those accomplishments were going to be the ones that should have netted a cover. If you're asking me, I would go with a player like Adley Rutschman. I mean, here's a guy that basically turned a whole franchise around just by being there. But I think one thing that a lot of people have overlooked is, Jazz is going through a position change from second base to center field. So perhaps that's going to factor into the functionality of the game the same way last year. They made such a big deal about Ohtani being a two-way player from a pitcher to a hitter. They actually did a really good feature where they talked about having to kind of reevaluate stamina in the game. You think about all the great athletes that we've seen in games. I don't know that I've had an athlete that had to have a game reprogrammed the way they needed to reprogram with Ohtani. So that was a really cool thing. So maybe, although it's a long shot, they're going to factor Jazz's position change into the game. He did come out and say he's going to win a Gold Glove this year in center field. So it'll be interesting to see, because this game, as much as I just praised it, does need something. It needs some spark. It is starting to get repetitive, particularly if you play this game even 3 times a week. It does get stale, and we haven't really seen a lot of changes over the past number of years to core gameplay. Yes, they brought in crossplay, which was incredible. Always wanted that, but whether you're playing on next-gen consoles or not, the change just hasn't been there. And if you're on last-gen, I don't understand what they're doing. I mean, the price point is $60, which, if you look at the lack of features, essentially, you're more than likely just getting a user interface lift. And that is just, to me, not acceptable. Last year, next-gen got the Stadium Builder, which was exclusive. So now, if they do anything exclusive to next-gen, you're really not even getting the full game on last-gen. You're maybe getting, 85% of what the, quote, full game would be. I just don't understand. Don't put it out on last gen if you're going to do that. The other interesting thing is when you look at the pre-orders, for some reason, last gen does not include packs. So the next gen console gets 5 along with stubs, but the prior gen does not. I don't know how to make sense of that. I mean, to me, that's kind of like a pretty big deal. I mean, that would be the equivalent of Madden having a pre-release where current gen doesn't get MUT packs as a promo. I mean, that's the same hand-in-hand concept. I mean, why would they not do that? I mean, that almost is foreboding with the fact that they're not giving those packs away. Because, I mean, let's be honest, no one that hasn't bought a new console is going to say, oh, well, if I'm going to get 5 packs, I better go drop, $250 to $600 on a new console to make sure I get those 5 free packs. So to me, I really think they need to evaluate where this game is going. They need to find some way to kind of spruce up or liven up the gameplay so it doesn't get repetitive. Yes, the core is there. Yes, it's a quality experience. Yes, it does have its bugs. It does have its glitches. But for the most part, it's consistent in providing a fun and rewarding game. And I don't really expect anything different this year. I just worry that, if you've played this game at a high level for a long time, whether it's online or offline, there is no way that you're not starting to get just a little bit burnt out with the gameplay mechanics. And I understand and respect they can't do these 180 changes where all of a sudden things are vastly different than the year before because, the community is very vocal about this game and there could be pushback if they go one way against the other. And certainly you're not going to make anyone happy all the time, but look at the cover for how that's received. They obviously can't do everything right to appease every single player, but at some point I think you just have to try something. And although there were some changes last year with the way they built Otani into the game, I don't think they were enough to warrant saying the game is taking major strides. It's already there in the base form, but to me, if it continues along this path, I think you're going to have gamers that are really going to start to look elsewhere because we've just been sold the same product year in and year out. So here's hoping that Jazz can turn that around, be that kind of flashy young player, almost like, and I hate to bundle them in the same group because of what's happened with Tatis, but I felt like Tatis was kind of bringing a little bit of uniqueness to the game, a little bit of personality to the game, and hopefully Jazz can do that. Hopefully they can work in the position change a little bit. Hopefully he stays healthy and has the best season he's ever had. All of those things would help make MLB The Show 23 a must-purchase game. At least I know for me it will be. I know I say this every single year, but I really do plan on putting more MLB The Show content out. And I really think if you go back from maybe 2020, I've had more and more MLB The Show content every single year. And I really think at some point, unless Madden can get its game together, I might just start to transition fully over to MLB The Show. Not because I want to, because for a quality gameplay experience, I have to. And that's what I'm hoping to see this year, and hopefully you do too. Appreciate you watching this video. I will be back in the week with more commentary.